Well, the laundry list is getting way shorter, and am I glad. Anyway, we're getting down to the details, get this thing, cosmetics and otherwise, and there's just these little things that have to be dealt with. One of them is this air cleaner over here is pretty close to this exhaust manifold behind it. When you close the hood, all that heat's going to want to get over here, so I want to put fresh air into this intake. The headlight area here is just screened, so air will come straight through here and into here, but I got to block this off between here. I just need a heat shield to go in between these two. And for that, what I have in mind is just to come straight off the frame rail, come straight up, and then I'll have to make a bend right here to miss the alternator and just cover this partially. So it's just a block, and you'd be amazed how much a small thing like that, what a difference that makes as far as putting your hand on one side of it versus not having it there. Huge. So I just took some 050 aluminum sheet and cut a piece about 9 by 11, and then I measured up where I got a bend at about 8 inches, and I can snake that down in here and mount it to the side of the frame rail like that. Drop it down just so it clears the alternator, doesn't rattle. Move the air cleaner there, and that's going to be my little shield. So all I have to do now is drill a couple holes in here, and I'll probably put some nut zerts on the frame rail there, and then just screw this in, and that'll take care of this. Then I got to go over to the other side and do something for the ECU to protect it from the rainwater and dirt and everything else. Just kind of keep it from getting wet. So there's my little shield in place. It's not going to vibrate against the alternator. There were some holes in the frame already with threads, so why not reuse them? That worked fine. And that's right up against the air cleaner here. Something I have been reading about, and I tend to put a little faith in. We all use these fabric style air cleaners, K&N style air cleaners, and one of the problems is you oil them. Of course, oil collects all the dirt and dust on it. A pre-filter is a way better way to handle these out in the dirt where I'm at, and I'm going to probably run a pre-filter on it. But what I've been reading is if you oil them, the problem is that the oil you put on these tends to come through the filters, get sucked in, and clog up your mass airflow sensors. And if you're using a mass airflow sensor, that's probably got some validity to it. So I'm going to do a little more reading on that, but I think that that's probably a good guidance is don't put oil on a filter before a mass airflow sensor, because there's a good likelihood you're going to gum it all up, and then you end up having to clean it a lot, or you'll be getting codes or problems or all kinds of things. You may already be having problems and don't know where it's coming from, but if you're having issues with that, maybe avoid the oil filters. I've heard mechanics say, please stop putting these kind of filters on these new engines because it's clogging up all the mass sensors. So that's a little point to the wise here. And now I'm going to move on over to the ECU. Here I've got a different problem. I've still got the headlight, which is just a grill. It'll let air in and cooling, and that's great, except that also rain will come in. These connectors are supposedly watertight. I couldn't guarantee that 100%. Water could get in the backside back here and down on the wires. They do have seals on the wires, but I'm a little bit suspicious about that, and I would really like to avoid getting water in here. Furthermore, the bracket that holds it, this is a factory bracket, but it's not really clamping good in here. So what I want to do is, I can get it there, but to get it to stay put, I'm either going to have to do something to help assist that lock, but the other thing I want to do then is I want to put a shield that's going to come up, over, and down behind this with a cutout on the back for the wires that'll at least kind of cover this from the mainstay of water that can come splashing in here. So I just think that would be a nice thing to have and protect everything over here. So that's kind of my next thing. Maybe get some cardboard and mock up something until I get what I want, and then get to cutting some aluminum. So what I've got so far over here is this cover, which is going to mount on the frame rail here and on my hold down bracket over here. And it's not done yet, but as you can see, rather simple. The problem is that the front isn't blocked off. I didn't have enough material in one piece, so I'm going to have to make a block off for the front. So as it looks right now, that's what it looks like. So we'll cut back here to clear this front corner, and of course I'll have to screw it all down, but I got to make a cover for the front of this now, close this up somehow. I'm thinking I might do something and pop rivet it together. That's going to be the easy way with this thin metal. Very easy to do that. So I'm going to make a little cover here. That'll block the rain and weather or whatever coming in the front of it. from getting in here. It can run down below all at once. It's on top that I'm concerned. So that's going to be the next part of this, and then I should be able to make mounting holes, drill and tap, and bolt this thing in. So it looks like we're going to have a nice little cover. Won't look too bad. I'll clean it up, brush it up a little bit, get rid of all my bending marks, and away we go. So there's my little cover to protect the ECU. It's open on the back. I'm not too worried about that. I still have to screw it down. It's got a cover on the front through the headlight area. It'll keep the water from pouring in there on it. And I'll wrestle it out of here and show you quickly what it looks like. As I said, still needs a little dress up, a little polish up where I did the marks from bending it. But basically pop riveted together around here. And it's mainly just to keep the big amount of water just rushing and getting into those connectors. So this will act as a protector for my ECU, a little bit of a heat protection as well. So yeah, this should do the job. Pretty simple, pretty easily made, just some sheet metal, bent it up a little bit, and there you go. I've finally come down to a part of the project I've been putting off. This is a difficult and very concerning portion. You'll notice we've got a hood bolted to the car. Hey, that's sweet. So nice. And it blocks all the LED glare. But when I bring it down, unfortunately, it doesn't close. And I think we all know about that. So I did not want to cut this hood. I really didn't want to do it. I love having a sleeper where you just open the hood and everybody goes, wow. You're not hiding it when it's sticking out of the hood. So I wanted to hide it, but it didn't happen. The intake I was going to use, I was going to hash it up into such a mess that it wasn't going to work. So I had to go back to the factory intake, and with that, it sticks up too high. And I'm going to have to put a hole for the intake manifold to stick out of the hood. And I want to do that very, very carefully because I don't want to hack it up badly. One of the good things is I really like this hood. The hood that was on it, the red hood with the backward little scoop, I hate that hood. Man, that's ugly. And it's steel. This is aluminum. That's why I didn't want to cut it, because I really like this hood. And it is aluminum. And somebody will probably look at me and go, I'd have given you a hood. Please don't hack that hood up. But too late. I'm going to have to. I taped off an area here, which is a guess of about how big the hole is going to have to be on the inside. And I can see from the side where the front of the intake manifold is, and I can put a mark there. So this gives me just kind of an outside outline. I really would rather cut smaller than this, so I will start smaller and work my way up. The corners, I would like to use a hole saw to make them round. I will come back and get them with a nibbler and a drum sander on a drill to give that a nice curved opening on there. But how far back it goes, it feels like it's all the way back underneath this. So this may even have to go and get up here a little bit. I do not believe I'll have to cut this. I should have enough clearance with that. But it looks like I'm going to have a hole somewhere in this area. So to start with, I'm going to cut inside here about 2 inches, close the hood, remeasure, then I can see where everything is and just eke my way out ever so slowly until I get just enough clearance to clear that intake. I don't want to do any more than that. But so it looks like Frankenstein's brain is going to be sticking out of the top of his head is what it's going to be. And we might go with that theme later. But anyway, so unfortunately, that's the next step. Then I got to put hood pins in, and as soon as I get my bumper mounts back, I can drive this thing. I'm looking forward to it. But right now begins this process. So I'm going to tape inside of this, mark that, and get in here with my cutting wheel and ever so carefully work my way into this and see just how much I have to take out. But it's almost a car. It's getting really close. So I'll come back to you as soon as I get the first hole hacked. It appears it's starting to come through. So the first thing is, like I said, always cutting smaller than you need. Work your way up to it. You can always sand the edges and work your way back. But another thing, just FYI, when I'm working under here, try to put a piece of wooden block on here or something when I'm working to hold the hood up, because when you're cutting, you do not want to cut into your intake manifold, especially after I had to modify that and all. I do not want to screw that up. Plus, it'll be visible. We don't want to be whacking into it. So lift the hood, get it up, get something holding it up while you work. Don't work right down around your intake, because that's plastic, and that cutting wheel would put a nice hole in it and look like crap. So don't do that. anyway, so I'm working on it. Now it's time to get a little more in here. We know we're fair here until that hits. I'm not going to cut anymore, but I know I'm going to have to go down some on that. So next thing is to find the areas where it hits and just keep doing little cuts until you get it to clear and then clean it up all nice. Okay, so it's always helpful to have a lot of different tools when you're working on something like this. Anything from that cutting wheel, saber saw, all kinds of things. And so I use a variety depending on what I need. This right here, handy little fella, is a nibbler. And I've got the handheld ones that do the little square notch. You can go on around, they're slow. This is powered by a drill, and it has a little pin moves in and out, and it nibbles right there. And you can run this thing all around circles and corners and everything. Real handy. I've had this for a while. Big dog biter. I got it at a trade show one day, and it's real handy. However, you have to remember it'll only do one layer at a time. Only do that little thickness. So when I get to areas where I've got this double thickness, I've got to use something else, saber saw or otherwise. So, but this is real handy in some ways, just for getting around small areas like this. I just want to do a little work and see where I'm going. But there. See? Kind of handy. Helps you get closer to where you want to be. I can always move that out further, but this is great for doing these little notching jobs as I slowly get the hood to drop down further on here. So that's just another one of those cool little tools to have around. You can never have too many tools. I think I've said it before. So anyway, back at it. Now I got to cut here, so it's touching here. I'll cut here. I'll keep going until I get it all the way down. And then I'll clean it up by giving a little bit of extra around to smooth it out and give a little room for the motor to move or whatever. So even though it probably won't, but there you go. Another little tip. Technically, I got a hole. Do I like it? No, but had to be here, and I'm still not thrilled with some of the details. So anyway, the question is, I don't want to open it up big around the sides and have this gaping hole around the intake. So I'm trying to follow the contour of this a little, and as it goes back, it drops down, obviously, because the hood comes up. So it gets narrower at the back, which is okay, maybe. At the front, I actually took a little too much right in here, and I'm going to have to do something about that. Putting that back is damn near impossible, so I have another idea. But anyway, I'm looking at sort of a trapezoidal-looking crazy shape here, which is interesting. You know, this sits at an angle, isn't straight, so I'm trying to kind of work with that. Again, if I came straight across, I'm going to have a giant hole right here. Don't really love the look of that. So that's one problem. At the back, I'm just touching here with this plastic. I'll have to trim this a little, underneath a little. I'm not too sure exactly what I'm going to do back there, but it may play into what I've got in mind here. So I need to come along the inside of these lines. I'd like to really clean this up. Come along straight, give a nice smooth cut, curve it here, curve it in here where I'm at, just open it up a little bit around here and follow that back. And then what I'm thinking of is making a bezel that fits around the outside edge to take care of this floppiness here, kind of stiffen it up just a little bit, and also at the back because I had to cut the support completely out under there, which is underneath that. So that had to go, and I've got to do something here plus a little support. I can actually go inside there if I need to with a bezel. So let me give you an idea of what I did on my Celica, and I'm thinking something along the similar lines. So on the Celica, what I did, I had to put a hood scoop through for the air intake for the turbo, and then I wanted to let heat out right here where the turbo is through, so I wanted some vents back here. So what I did was I cut the whole hole open, and then this bezel is actually made of aluminum, and I rounded the edges over, and then had it black anodized, and for that car I could paint it. But the idea then is to do something similar to this with a wider flange that'll cover that front corner and also give me some support. It's only about 1/8 inch thick aluminum, but I could cut it to shape, round all the corners, round all the edges, paint it black and bolt it down, and then it would act as the support somewhat for that flimsiness on the hood, and also would give me kind of a dress-up flange along the edge of that. And so I'm thinking of something like that. This is bolted down with some little Allen heads here, and I won't need a screen in it obviously, but I'm thinking something along those lines. And this also follows the angle of the front of the hood here, and goes with the angle of the car. It's a little bit of a similar idea. So right now, that's probably what I'm going to try. I may trash it, but I think I'm going to make something with that. So I'll have to clean the hole up, but before I do that, I want to get the hood pins in over there. Pull the hood down somehow, and I thought about those nice flip latch pins on here. Those are real cool looking, those dress up like tuner looking ones. I like the way they look, but I've seen a lot of issues with when you're racing and flexing that they're not necessarily as reliable as the good old-fashioned hood pins. And I happen to have a set of those around, so I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and put those on the bulkhead on each side here, come up through the hood, and just put regular old hood pins in. Where I put them, I can always take them out and put the other ones in, but I think for now, that's the safe way to go. It's simple, it's easy, and it should give me plenty of safety for hold down and all that. Then I'll come back to the hole up here. So, as we said, the original hood latch isn't going to fit with my radiator support here. This removable center section, all of that's been changed, so that's not going to work. Hood pins are the answer. So the question is where to put them. Naturally, I want to put them down here on this bulkhead. Run the camera down a bit. I'm going to put it down here on this bulkhead somewhere. I want to put it further out to the outsides where it's strongest. As I move in, I lose strength and it becomes more flexible. So I need the strength. I want to put it out here pretty far. Somewhere in this area is nice. So the first thing I look for on the hood, bring it back up, is going to be a place along here. The rubber bumper sits right here, and then that bulkhead support comes across, hits this bumper, and onto the other side. So in between here and here is ideal. And naturally, one of the best things is there's a hole right here already in the lower section. So that's almost perfect, and it does line up directly when I lower it right over that bulkhead support. So really, I want to put my pins right there. So what I'm going to do is use this hole as a guide, poke a hole straight out through the top, close the hood, pilot it down here, drill that, and everything should line up just lovely. I'll do that on both sides. It's symmetrical, so that looks like a pretty easy answer, and we'll have hood pins very quickly. We got hood pins. That's going to keep everything in place. So not easy to forget too, because they're obvious. I can put these on lanyards. Usually I just lift it, stick them back in place, and then when I close the hood, obviously it won't close until you pull them and put them back in. Good reminder. So anyway, with that done, it's time to get to trimming the hole up a little prettier. Follow my lines here. Get the drum sander out to get into the corners here, and then we'll start thinking about a bezel. So anyway, Isabella almost ready to drive. Well, someday there might be a little hump over this, but right now it's sticking out. I hate my little notch here. I got to fix that. The bezel should take care of that and reinforce all this a little bit, pull this all together. Looks like back here I'm just barely hitting, and I think if I can just take my drum sander like I did in these corners and just give that a little relief here, I think that's all I'm going to need. But the bezel is going to have to work along with that and all kind of come together. So anyway, very, very close. A little touch there. It's barely hitting. I can fix that. And so temporarily, for the time being, there's the hole in the hood. And the hood is tied down with hood pins. Once I get my bumper brackets in, that'll hold that up, and I can take this thing for a test drive. I could tie wrap it up right now, but we'll see. Anyway, whew, it's been a ways getting here, but folks, it's really starting to look like a car. Let me give you a back off shot here. Includes the glare from the overhead lights up there, but there's still some more work up front here. There will be a grill guard to go on here, and that's going to act as a brush guard, also a protector for the upper and lower radiator tanks, and a mount for the skid plate, which still has to go on. But it's almost there. A little more dress up here, that up there, and it's starting to look like Frankenstein in a big way. Okay, so holy cow, starting to get somewhere. I really feel like we got a car on our hands. So very soon, it's going to hit the road. First official time driving this car, at least on the back road for just a little bit, and get a feel for it. Obviously need front end alignment and things. Got a little detail work to do on the front, but hey, this is my first time getting this thing out and stirring the gears. So I'm excited. This is the first shot. Oh, I got one little thing to do, and then we're going to hit the road.
If that don't bring out the neighbors, nothing will. Oh, crap. This thing is nuts. Oh, this is going to be the most fun ever. I am just... It gives you the giggles, man. This is insane. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I gotta post this up. Y'all are gonna love this.